This is the Commonwealth, where we interview creators of disruptive change. We just got done talking to two virologists, Dr. Charles Wood and Dr. John West. And this project and the whole idea stemmed from Ashley and Hunter kind of pitching me the idea. Hunter is the Commonwealth's production assistant and runs all production. The show wouldn't happen without him. And then Ashley Clegg is here. How do you two know each other again?
Yeah, we are Startups UNL gang. She's the science executive. No, that's false. I'll have Ashley introduce herself.
Yes.
Yeah, so we met through Startups UNL. Kind of my life is divided into entrepreneurship and science, and so that's how I know Hunter. We're on the executive team together for that organization.
Okay, so entrepreneurship and science, why those two? Yeah, why those two?
I get that all the time. For me, it makes a lot of sense, but they are very different industries. And so kind of how it works for me is the two things that I care about and that wake me up in the morning are helping people and solving problems. And so with entrepreneurship and science, those are front and center. That's everything.
Yeah, it's like the same question for both of them.
Exactly.
Why did you guys, how did you come up with this idea of let's talk to two of the leading virologists at Nebraska's Center of
Yeah, I mean, I'll start because I think the biggest thing, even though I was telling you the other day about the Commonwealth, was we can make an impact, you know? And I see my friends consistently around me, I don't want to get the vaccine. I want to manufacture a fake card. I need to, passport. The vaccine passports are so stupid. And they miss out on why they exist, right? They're they're doing it to control us. No, they're doing it to protect our safety as a globalized society. And that's why I was I need to figure this out. And so that's where I was I knew Ashley was doing coronavirus research and other things, and I'll let you talk about that. So I was we need to combine forces. So I was hey, with the objective, let's interview some people that we know would be able to take straight facts. If you're scared of the vaccine, let's debunk that. Let's debunk these things, because I'm tired of hearing about it, and I'm tired of people talking about I'm not doing it for this reason, or it's not safe because it was rushed. I mean, this is a scientific feat. It's incredible, and I'll have Ashley jump in.
On my end of things, I've just been so frustrated watching people with these crazy theories and these fake facts and things that it's just how did you even come up with this?
Yeah.
I've been so frustrated with this, especially when the information is out there. The CDC is telling you things. There's information everywhere. But I realized, so I was getting so frustrated with these people who just don't get it and think vaccines are bad, think COVID is fake, etc. But then I also, I had to empathize with them, because my opportunity here, working in this lab alongside brilliant virologists, I pester them with questions all day. How does this virus work? What does this mean? What does this do? What if this happens? And so I'm so lucky just to work here. It's my favorite place, but I'm so lucky just to have that insight into the head of a virologist. And you see, what the CDC kind of has, and the information they present is a little bit watered down in a way to make more sense to the general public, but then to ask those deeper questions about how does this really work and what does this really mean? I've been so lucky that I have all these people here to talk to about it all the time, and I realize that that's not the case for most people. And so while I can do as much as I can on my end with my friends, hey, here's the science, I think it'd be really beneficial for more people to be able to talk to virologists or have their questions answered. And so Hunter and I kind of talked about this, our frustration, and then here's this huge disconnect between the scientific community and all this data and information and the general public. And so we kind of saw it as a way to bring those two together.
And it's become political, I think, what I'm saying? And of course, we went through one of the most turbulent election years we've ever been seen as probably a society, in the previous modern age, right? And for me, my inner journalist came out. Shout out to Nancy Sutton Smith, when I was the editor-in-chief of The Viewpoint, which is the Northeast Community College newspaper. She always told me, look for the story. Yeah. What's the story? And in society right now, the story is this. The story is keeping everyone safe. When they're talking about the nasty bug that it could turn into, they were holding back because they don't want to scare you of what's actually out there and what could actually happen.
That's another thing too about vaccines is the reason that variants happen is because every time you get infected with the virus, it has the potential to mutate. And a lot of the time that doesn't affect anything. It's just it's something that doesn't have an effect on the vaccine or on the virus or how it affects you. It might not make it worse for you. It might make it better. but it's these variants coming out of mutations that make the virus stronger that are really concerning. And the reason that's happening is because all these people are getting infected, and each new person infected is a chance for the virus to mutate. And so that's a thing of like, people are like, oh, like I don't have to worry about COVID because I'm not going to get sick and die. Okay, yes, maybe that's on you, but you're also a host for the virus to potentially mutate and cause the next South African variant. And so then with vaccines, the more vaccinated people we have, that's also less chance for further variants. And so that's something that is really important as well.
Yeah, yes. Well, I really appreciate both you two presenting me this idea that I'm aligned with you guys 100%. And it was cool even coming, definitely the most unique place we've ever shot.
For sure.
We're literally in the Nebraska Center of Virology in a laboratory. We had to wear lab coats. I'd never probably be the only time I'll ever wear a lab coat for any of this. What was your, I guess, biggest takeaway from all of that? We really focused on listener questions.
Yeah.
Just as we presented to the audience, and I kind of like dug around to like some friends and people I knew checked out the show but didn't like send us a DM on Instagram, and we really only presented listener questions. And I also liked, so we did a pre-interview meeting with this, and we hardly ever do pre-interview meetings, but I thought it was important to kind of get aligned with both the doctors, and the comment that they made of like, we shouldn't try to apply a rational argument to irrational thinking, that the only thing we can do is just present the facts and science behind it. And I thought they did that very, very well. What were some of the your big takeaways from like the other conversation?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway was, because working like being next to Ashley all the time, and I love science.
Yeah.
If I would not have been in the business sector of things, I definitely would have been a scientist for sure, because I just love understanding the way that things, like your human body is when he was talking about putting something inside your body that creates a code and instructions to build something, to fight something, that's bonkers, man.
Yeah.
You inject your arm in something and it tells your body to make this specific thing and then to protect your life and other people around you. I think it's so fascinating. But my biggest takeaway was when you were talking about we just don't have all the answers right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of this pushback with the vaccine comes from, is there's so much ambiguity that around these types of things that we sometimes, like, it's okay to not know, I mean, people want answers right now today, but like they were saying, we are getting data by the second, we're getting more and more data that tells a story that allows us to figure out how to better combat the virus, make better vaccines. And so, I mean, I think it's just an ever evolving thing, and to me, to really feel and hear it from them saying like, what I didn't really think about how fast, it was, that's crazy. Even this episode, we have to produce this and edit it and push it out by Monday because things change so much.
Yeah, yes. Literally, so Kyle Kua is our editor, and I feel really bad for him because after this, I'm going to send him all these files and get it done by Sunday. Yeah, so Ashley, what was and you're also in this environment every day, so did you have a big takeaway outside of your daily life, or did you kind of know everything from it? Or?
Yeah, and a lot of that is from my own research, but also just asking them questions all the time. But I think kind of my takeaway from it is these questions are some of them we don't really know the answer to. Are we going to have to get a seasonal shot? We don't know yet. Yeah. But there's a lot of questions that can be easily answered if you ask the right person.
Yeah.
And I think because it's been frustrating to me because I'm the data is there. Google it. There's scientific journals. So everywhere, just Google it, y'all. And people prefer to hear this from other people though, And so I think kind of the format of asking virologists questions and getting their answers, speaking to you, I think that's a lot more beneficial because I'm a science girl, I'm a data girl, and I want to look at the numbers and the charts and all this and read those scientific journals, but it's not as fun for most people. And so having these questions answered from a real person, a virologist, not representing any government, any political party.
Yeah.
These people care about you. They care about your safety and in the lab.
That's why they exist.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's literally why they exist, is to make sure that this doesn't to make sure that everybody is safe from viruses.
Right. It's saving lives. And so I think it's just really beneficial to get that community connection. And I know that both Dr. Wood and Dr. West are extremely care a lot about the community. Everyone here is just very empathetic, and I think that's a big part of science that people miss, because, you know, you see science as like, oh, you know, data, X, Y, you know, like just math. And but it's really, science is about helping people. And I'm glad that we can bring that to the table here.
Yes. Well, thank you two so much for organizing and kind of orchestrating this whole episode. I hope it moves the needle somewhat, and I'm just really happy that we were able to put this together. So thank you for both you two. Go check out that other episode is live now. Go check it out. Link is in the description bio, depending where you're watching it. And tap the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Yeah,
and I'll leave the audience with a little tidbit of stay curious.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Ask questions. What is the mRNA vaccine? Because that's why we're here, is because we have questions and they need answered, you know? And if you're not seeking those questions from an expert, then, you know, they don't exist, right? You know what I'm saying? Be curious, but actually, like, understand where your information is coming from. Because there is so much information out there today that, you know, a Facebook article is not going to do it justice.
Yes.
If you hear it from a virologist coming out of their mouth, they mean it. They've studied this their whole life.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Like, one thing I've heard that really frustrated me was people saying, like, we have an immune system. We don't need vaccines. And, like, no.
Yeah.
Because, like, the vaccine works because you have an immune system. It's just, like, you get sick, you get antibodies, you're better, you're protected. We just come in here, like, you don't have to get sick, you just get the antibodies and you're protected. And like they said, long-term effects are really not something you have to worry about. Almost no vaccines have had long-term effects.
That's what I found was interesting.
Yes, it leaves your body so quickly that you don't have to worry about fertility or autism or all these crazy things. And like, the science is out there and there's people who know the science.
God, science is dope.
And your comment about misinformation, unlike any other period throughout history, the burden is on you to find the correct information and like corroborate that with like a different media outlet or wherever you like you really do have to research. And I like, there's more work, but it is important.
Yes,
it's important.
Yeah, I say it all the time. Like, trust the people who know the thing better than you.
Yeah.
Like, trust their decision. Trust scientists. You know, like, I don't know the first thing about cars, and so I'm not gonna, you know, like, say like, oh, I don't need to fill up my tank with gas. I don't need to get my oil changed because I don't know why. Like, I don't know why that's important.
Yeah.
But I know that mechanics do, and so I trust them with that.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely.
like, we can't all be experts in this stuff. And so if someone knows more than you in a thing, if they've dedicated their whole life to it, maybe consider trusting them.
Yeah, and speak up. If your friend, you know, you listen to this and your friend's like, I'm still not getting vaccinated because of this, why? Send him this episode.
Yeah.
Send him the episode.
Like,
reach out too. We will get you connected with these guys.
I would
for sure.
love to just have my inbox, like, you can DM me or whatever, just like flood my inbox with questions. I have so much research here and so much access to these virologists. Like, I just love to help.
Where can people access you?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the easiest way, Instagram, ASHACLEGG. You can DM me there, or I don't know.
LinkedIn.
My LinkedIn, Ashley Clay on
game.
Instagram. It says I'm UNL. You'll recognize me there. But
okay,
please reach out for the questions. I want people to get the information.
Yeah. Keep everything safe. Keep everybody safe.
Definitely.
Keep your neighbor. Love thy neighbor again, for sure.
Absolutely. The sense of community that we touched on that, and
big
for sure. I mean, get vaccinated for the sense of community, and it's the thing I'm very much looking forward to getting back to, is that sense of community in a physical sense. And we won't get there until there's like that broad sense of community to do it for your neighbor. To maybe end the episode, Hunter mentioned being a scientist, and then I kind of noticed he looks pretty good in a lab coat. So there's a little name tag.
Yeah.
Sydney. So Sydney's missing her lab coat. All right. Anything else?
No, man. Science is dope. Trust your neighbor. Love your neighbor, and get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated. It's an easy choice.
Well, thank you all for, again, doing this, and thank you for listening. For real, share the link with your friend. It helps support the show and helps support like the cause of like
support
spreading
your
the
community
correct information. Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.